Hello book lovers and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, I'm Beth and welcome to Boo's Book Nook. Over the past few months, I have been buying books in dribs and drabs, and I thought I would come at you with my recent book haul, and she's a big pile. She is a big pile. Oh my gosh. Whew. Some of these are second-hand, some are from the book sale at the library, some were new that I purchased, and some were actually gifted to me. So let's get into the haul. Right, we're going to do this quick fire because I actually have quite a big haul. I'm just going to give you a brief overview of each book, and if it sounds interesting to you, you need to go and get these because these all sound so good. And I'm so excited to read them. First up, a recent purchase of mine that I actually bought in one of the supermarkets because it was really cheap compared to other competitive shops. If you know, you know. And that is The Ministry of Time by Kellyanne Bradley. As you can see, I've already started it. This has been highly recommended from so many booktubers and all over TikTok as just a fantastic immersive read. It is a sci-fi dystopian style of book where time travel is real. And the Ministry of Time goes back in certain pockets of time to take people from that time of history and bring them to present day and try to get them used to the present day. Of course, there is always a bit of a catch and things are starting to go wrong. There is a little hint at some corruption going on in the ministry. But overall, I'm really enjoying it so far. It's written beautifully and I'm so excited to finish this. Definitely at the minute, worth the hype it's been given. The next two I actually got on Vinted really cheap and they are brand new. Vinted has some gems out there. And this is these two. We've got Wendy Darling and Hooked by A.C. Wise. These are fantasy novels, of course, based on Peter Pan and those tellings. This is more of a young adult book, but it's not like the Hooked by Emily McIntyre, so it's not Spy Central. Okay, but it is a different take on the Peter Pan stories. We see James Hook, of course, in this one, and we see Wendy Darling in this one as she's grown up. And Peter Pan is one of my favourite Disney films. I love Tinkerbell. She is, can you say spirit animal? I want to be Tinkerbell. She's so mischievous and sassy and I love her. So when I saw these on Vinted for £1 each, I was like, yes, get these in my life. And I am so excited to read these just for a bit of Disney adult feelings. So I will let you know when I read these how these are. Now, my local library does a book sale, and these are for whether donations to the library or ex-library books that just aren't getting the footfall and aren't getting the checkouts because there's only a certain amount of space in a library, so they need to create space for the new books coming. And so when I saw this one on the bookshelf, I thought that sounded right up my street and something that sounded like I'm going to really like it. And that is Becoming Belle by Nuala O'Connor. And I mean, that cover is absolutely stunning. There's gold foiling. There, of course, I'm a theatre girl, and there are the theatre masks. This is set in Victorian London in 1887. Historical fiction, as you might already know, is one of my favourite genres, and Victorian London is definitely up there with one of my favourite periods of history. And this follows Isabel, who then becomes Belle, who is a part of this dancing duo. And we follow her as she has her career and the ups and downs in that, and it just sounds like me. I'm really excited to give this a read. Actually, for an ex-library book, it is in a very good condition. Like, it is slightly yellow and a couple of stains and the spine is cracked, but actually it's readable. And I'm going to help support my local library by buying this. Now, one I got for my birthday. Buying books for me for my birthday is a risky game because I have a lot of books. And my stepmom and my dad and my baby sister, I say baby, she's 18, got me this book and I actually didn't have it on my shelves. I haven't read it, and so they did good. And that is Hello Beautiful by Anne Napolitano. And I've been eyeing this up for a while. I keep seeing it at the library and I just haven't picked it up. And now I have my own copy. This sounds so cute. It's about best friends and sisters. So I'm feeling that wholesome friendship vibe, but they go through hardships. There's some tragedy that hits, and we basically follow the lives of these best friends. It's had such good reviews, and I'm so excited to give this a read. Another one I picked up from the library book sale is a classic. This is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, and let me tell you, this is an unread copy. Like, someone's obviously donated this to the library, so definitely go check out your local library to see if they have a book sale, because it is perfect. You are supporting your local library so they can buy new stock, but also getting some really good books in that. I have never read this, and that is atrocious, I know, but I'm starting to collect more classical books, and when I saw this on the book sale, you bet I had to get it. And the fact it is not red, the spine is perfect, and this is a beautiful copy. I love the orange and just the artwork on it. So if you don't know, this follows Dorian Gray, and he has his portrait painted, and he kind of has a bit of a curse or something like that put on him, where basically all his aging and anything that happens to him occurs on the portrait rather than him. So as long as that portrait is in that attic, he is alive and strong and well. We follow that story. So I'm excited to actually get to read a classic at some point. I really need to do it. I need to. It's sacrilege being a reader and not having read the classics. One I picked up once again in a supermarket, because supermarket books are elite, I swear. They are so much cheaper than other places. And that is Funny Story by Emily Henry. Now, if you haven't heard of Emily Henry, then where have you been? I'm not a crazy romance girl. I love my fantasies, historical fiction, and contemporary fiction, those styles of genres. But I love romance in the summer when it's lovely and hot outside. I'm sitting outside, or I go on holiday, etc. And I really enjoyed Book Lovers by Emily Henry, so I thought I'd pick this one up because I've once again heard great things. This sounds like a childhood best friends situation to then lovers. I'm not really sure too much, but I actually picked up 2 copies of this, so me and my sister can read them at the same time, because she's just finishing A-levels and she's going to go on holiday. I thought it'd be really cute to have a little buddy read with my sister. Cute. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. How many times have I said I'm excited for that? Obviously, I'm excited for them because I bought them. Silly goose. Another one I picked up from my library book sale is this one, The Last Letter from Juliet. It's a historical fiction, and if you don't know, I love historical fiction. Kristen Hanna is one of my favourite authors. I've more recently discovered her, and I've more recently discovered my love again for historical fiction. This is based in World War II, so once again, one of my favourite niches of historical fiction. It's set around a pilot and a lady called Juliet, who they have a love interest, torn apart by the war, and it sounds like from the blurb that there is a dual timeline and we flick back and forth. Juliet is 100, so I'm really intrigued by this. I just find it so interesting to read fiction stories about real life situations. Like, this happened, and it brings you closer to the history and just reminds you in a bit of a nicer way than a non-fiction textbook. And I mean, it's so important to keep the history alive, and I feel like fiction books do that for the people who don't really like reading non-fiction. So yeah, another great one that I picked up. If you've watched my vlogs recently, you will know that I have been really into Japanese fiction, and that is novels written by Japanese authors that have been translated into English so that we can read. There are so many out there, and I've been reading a lot of your popular ones like The Cat Who Saved Books, What You're Looking For Is in the Library, those ones that everyone kind of seems to know. And when I saw these two, these I have never heard about. I've heard of the author Yoko Ogawa. She's written The Memory Police, which I have picked up. And so I thought maybe I'll give a shorter book by her a go. And this is called The Diving Pool. And this is about a lonely teenage girl who falls in love with her foster brother. Wow. Okay. I may have not read the blurb before picking this up and just saw the author's name and thought, yes, I'm going to pick that up. Let's read it. So it says, a lonely teenage girl falls in love with her foster brother as she watches him leap from a high diving board into a pool, an unspoken infatuation that draws out darker possibilities. A young woman records the daily moods of her pregnant sister in a diary, but rather than a story of growth, the diary reveals a more sinister tale of greed and repulsion. After nostalgia, a woman visits her own college dormitory on the outskirts of Tokyo, where she finds an isolated world shadowed by decay, haunted by absent students and the disturbing figure of the crippled caretaker. So This sounds like a series of different mini stories that are really hard hitting and kind of uncomfortable and haunting and creepy and disturbing. I think that's what she's going for. So I'm glad we read the rest of that, because I was a bit like, what is this story about? But I get it. So I'm intrigued to see how she writes this, because I'm not gonna lie, that sounds really creepy and interesting. I mean, the cover really creeps me out. It really creeps me out with the V. I'm intrigued. Very different from my usual Japanese fiction that I've picked up. Another one on the Japanese fiction bandwagon is this one. So this is Reconciliation by Naoya Shiga. And this is another Japanese translated into English. It's another little cute little tiny one. So this is part of the Japanese I-novel tradition, which is a confessional literary form. That sounds so good. Oh my goodness. So this is a quietly devastating reflection on all kinds of reconciliation, from his own familiar reunion to the universal need to reconcile ourselves to the inevitability of aging, loss, and death. Wow. So that sounds like another really hard hitting issue that we are seeing from a real life perspective, really. I'm really intrigued. And it's so short, so short. That's why I love a good Japanese fiction. It's usually so short, so they're just easy to read. So that's another one I'm intrigued to read. These are next two. I was incredibly gifted, and I cannot believe it. I got my first PR publisher mail. I know. I I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely just over the moon when they messaged me and asked if I would want this book. And I absolutely was like, yes, please, that sounds incredible. And the first one I got was Ladies' Night, and this is published by Electric Monkey, and they kindly sent this to me. And it is by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner, and I've already read this. I absolutely binged this. This is set in medieval times with a twist of modern to it, and it is very much women power, and it is a sapphic romance. And this is actually, I know, my first sapphic romance I have ever read, and let me tell you, it's going to be one that I read more often now, because I ate this up. This was so good. Oh my goodness, it was a 5 star. 5 star. Yes, I've already read it. I only got it the other day and I binged it. And that cover, pink is my favorite. So yeah, you bet I wanted to read this. Ben is a blacksmith's daughter who's always dreamed of being a knight. And of course, during those times, women couldn't be knights. But she masters herself up and she joins in a tournament. But Lady Isabel sees her in a market and recognizes her in the tournament, and there begins their friendship. And we see a whole range of kind of misogyny and issues that arise, betrayal, and it is just so cozy and easy to read. If you liked books like Assistant to the Villain or even Bridgerton, because there are little chunks of notes to the reader throughout this, which I loved, then you will love this. It's stunning, and there's going to be another one. It literally sets up perfectly for the next one. So this is out now. I have been gifted this, but they didn't ask me to review it, and they didn't tell me to say it was amazing. This is my honest and genuine opinion. I was just gifted it. Honestly, I implore you to read this book. It's so good. So good. Another one that I was kindly gifted was this one. So I joined the Bloomsbury Creator Circle because I hit over 3,000 followers on TikTok, and they accepted me, which incredible. And actually, they've already given me a book. I'm so lucky. So I don't know what's happened in the air this month, but luck was on my side. So yes, this is from the Bloomsbury Creator Circle, and it is My Name is Amelia Deval by Isabel Allende. This is a historical fiction novel, and I'm so excited. And it has a quote from Kristen Hannah, the Queen herself, on the top, so you know it's going to be good. This is set in 19th century San Francisco, and Amelia wants to be a writer, and she will do anything to become a published writer, even if it means writing under a man's name. Yes, please. Just once again, thank you, Bloomsbury, for gifting this to me. I can't wait to read it. I recently went to Jersey in the Channel Islands. When I say I was ignorant to what went on during the Second World War there, I knew they were occupied by the Nazis, but I did not know the atrocities that they went through. And I feel like it is not talked about enough. So when we went there, we went to the Jersey War Tunnels, which explains more about Jersey during the time of the Nazi occupation. And so I picked up this book, which is called Into the Darkness by Chris Stone. And it basically tells you how Jersey and its people survived the 5 years of the Nazi occupation. This is obviously a non-fiction book, but I was so intrigued and I felt like I needed to know more about it because Jersey, if you don't know, is a part of British territory. And the fact that we kind of abandoned them during the war, yes, it was a political strategy, but it just is heartbreaking. And my husband's grandfather was over, he was about 14 during the time of the World War II, and he was born in Jersey, he lived in Jersey during this time, and so we felt it was good to do some more research and find more about that because it is part of our family. So that was one I picked up this month as well. And finally, I think this is my favourite book I've purchased recently. It is stunning. It is stunning, and that is this beauty. It is Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales, but obviously the Brothers Grimm. I love Disney, if you don't know already, but I haven't read the original stories that inspired the Disney films. And if you don't know, the Brothers Grimm wrote those stories like Cinderella and Rapunzel. To use their name, they are Grimm. They are a lot different from the films. These are not happy endings. I didn't realize how many the brothers wrote. There are, in this book, 201 stories and 10 children's legends. Oh, yes, please. But just look at it. Just look at this copy and that spine. And you've got these beautiful gold sprayed edges. I'm in love. I'm in absolute love. And this is going to go with my collection of Mina Limas and special editions up here because the Mina Limas are gorgeous and I feel like this will fit in perfectly. My Mina Limas are the Disney collection rather than Harry Potter or any other ones. So I think this will go nicely with them. There you have it. That is my book haul for the past few months. As I said, I've been collecting these little by little over time. I've been trying not to buy as many because you might know my TBR is massive. But buying books gives me joy, and who am I to stop myself from giving me that joy, you know? Anywho, let me know if you've got any of these books and if you've read them, and let me know in the comments what you thought of them because I'd really want to know. Let me know if you put any of these books on your TBR because I'd happily do a buddy read with any of you. So let me know in the comments if you want to do buddy read with one of these because yes, reading friends, book besties. Yeah, let's do it. Right. Thank you so much for watching this. I really hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell so that you never miss an upload. And please also, if you would like to, follow my TikTok and Instagram, which is @BoozBookNook for TikTok and @BoozBookNook10 for Instagram. I'd love to see you over on those other platforms too. And I'll see you very soon for another one. Bye!